Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. I'm just looking at a book that I sometimes go back and look at by a man called Dwight Bain, and it was Destination Success. And I enjoyed this book because it was a map for living out your dreams. I'm all for living out your dreams. So what was the bit that caught my eye? Well, the bit that caught my eye was that success seekers keep on climbing, and Bain quotes the Chicken Soup for the Soul series of books that has been an international phenomenon. They've sold over 70 million copies, and one of the originators, one of the guys that put this together, was Mark Victor Hansen, one of the authors. And he was talking to the author, Mr. Bain, and he said, a story can change anyone's life. This collection of wonderful stories has empowered millions of people to face life in a new way. A story has power, and since we are in the final part, well, that's about the book itself. So, stories help you to identify the elements of your greatest destination. Now, my feeling is about stories, and this was the way that we went about our channel, Beth and I, when we discussed how we were going to do our channel. We didn't actually talk about that we would go out and build houses for people, or that we would help people to have operations or give money, or we never thought about any of that. As I've said many times, we actually just thought that we'd like to do a channel that told stories that made people feel good. Hence that expression that I keep putting on, and that is a feel-good channel. So I wonder if you know the story of how that title that I've just said, The Chicken Soup for the Soul, came about. Well, when they had, it was Jack Canfield. Jack Canfield he's a motivational speaker and coach, and he was talking to his friend Mark Victor Hansen. They were having coffee somewhere, I believe, and he mentioned this idea of the chicken soup for the soul, and of course, you know, Hansen was very interested and said, well, what do you have in mind on that? And he said, I want to put together a whole series of short stories which are accounts of how people have, I guess, done moving things, have had successes, have had met challenges, have felt good, all this kind of thing that would inspire people to do better. So not strictly speaking a motivational book, and yet it would be about, if people felt better, they would inevitably go on to do better. That was the idea. And they went round the traditional publishers, and they were turned down. In fact, some of the publishers actually criticized them and laughed at the idea that you could have such a book. Well, no, I mean, doesn't everybody know that it's conflict and negativity that attracts people? And it is true to say that negativity is something that we'll pay attention to. You can have 100 people pat you on the back and say, you know, you did really great, and if just a couple come up and say you're crap, you might well be knocked off your spot, just because of that ratio of 98 to 2. Ironic, isn't it? Well, they persisted and they kept going, and of course it is history that they've sold way over 70 million books now. It's a colossal success, and this was written a lot by ordinary people, but they told their story and they made people feel good. And that was the thing. So how did Canfield and Hansen decide what was a good story and what wasn't? Well, the basic thing was that it had to be true. It had to be true. It couldn't be a made-up thing. So it had to be true. Now, all I know is that when I was studying very hard, when I was a young musician, trying to, as most musicians are, trying to be the best trombone player in the world, and I worked very, very hard. And I heard it said that some people work best if their teacher brings them in and says, "My God, you sound bloody awful, you know, get out of here and come back when you've practiced properly." I never worked best on that. I worked best when I was told you did good. You could do better, but you did good. And I always would work so that I deserved that. And in fact, I've shared this once before about how to get through difficult times when you are actually studying or working and you're trying to do something. How do you get yourself over those humps which are discouraging you? Well, I just remember seeing a letter, and this is true. I saw a letter in a newspaper, and it was from a housewife who said that when she was doing anything, be it putting a dress together or cleaning the house or, I don't know, practicing the piano, if that's what she did, she said that she heard the voices of her friends as they said, "Wow, you are doing so incredibly well. I can't believe it. You do such good work." And she heard this over and over and over. And she said, hearing all of this and imagining in it, she couldn't help but do great things relative to her ability. And so I used to use that. I would think of the people that I respected the most, and I would imagine them saying, "Sounds good, you're doing good, keep going, try harder, do well." And I heard those comments, and I felt that I did better. Now, I didn't hear anybody saying, "Oh my God, you sound like crap, you need to get working." No, I didn't do that. That road did not attract me. So that led Beth and I to firmly agree that we would create a feel-good channel. And we've been criticised from time to time about, well, it's not real because you don't allow anything negative on there. Well, it's not that we don't allow disagreement, because we do. But if it's negative for no productive reason, then we delete it. Now, in the time that we have been struggling with our road, we've had many comments about it. And some of them have been helpful, some of them have been critical and helpful, and they've stayed. We've learned a great deal. But if it was negative, if it was bitchy or a gripe, or "My God, you are hopeless," or "You're this," or "You're that," we deleted it. Because I don't think that anybody feels good if they're having that kind of criticism. I know someone who, with his words, used to crucify a lot of people. And he always said, "If you don't want the truth, don't ask me." And my own experience is that those people who say that are the least able to take a hard truth. Now, that should tell you something, shouldn't it? So, a feel-good channel, that's what we wanted, that's what we've got, and that's what we work at creating. And that's the reason. The reason is that we feel that we are a chicken soup for the videos that we put out, and we try, although we try a few times to warn people of some of the dangers in the case of, say, of OFWs, we try to warn them of the terrible risks that they take going to a place that they know nothing about, and that's not always feel good, because some of the things that are happening are terrible and they need to be told about. So apart from that, we pretty much try to create a way of life, a way of listening, a way of watching that gives people hope. I had a letter today, and the lady has been a long time supporter. In fact, 2 of the letters that I've had very recently are from 2 of our most positive, happiness bringers, happy bringers, what can I say, light bringers if you like, and they've revealed some of their own personal history. And there's me thinking, wow, these guys just have a great life, and that's why they're so positive, that's why they try to bring happiness, and boy, was I ever wrong. They are having incredible challenges in which every day they get up to face yet another challenge, and could easily sit around being sorry for themselves, and yet they don't. And they do good things, they do good deeds, they say good things, they're happy, they're cheerful. I'm a great believer in the acceptable lie. And the acceptable lie, as I see it, is that you keep the crap to yourself. If people, let's face it, if you walk out on the street, get into your car and drive down to the gas station, and the guy at the cash desk says, "Hi, how's it doing?" You say, "Great, never better." Even if your world is crashing around you. Well, isn't that how it should be? Are you going to pour your life out, all of your woes, to the man behind, to the hapless captive audience behind the cash desk? He's not really asking you to share the potential destruction of your life as it exists right now. He's just passing the time of day. Have a good day. So there's the acceptable lie. We keep our real hurts to ourselves, and we try to get on with life as best we can. And that's really what it's about. And having a channel like we are having, we're trying to help to do that. You know, do Beth and I have our troubles? Yes, we have our troubles. Of course we do. We have our challenges. We have our disappointments. All of those things. Do we come out and spill it out? It's just a terrible thing. No, we're not going to do that, okay? I saw a post on Facebook very recently, and it's a very serious looking man there, and he's saying, "I can feel something coming on, probably the flu." Didn't do a lot for my day, I have to tell you, you know. So we don't tell you stuff like that. We try to keep it light, and we try to keep the stories which can change lives coming, and we try to offer a chance for you to get in and help. So this is a foreigner in the Philippines. Keep it feel good. That's what we hope to do. That's what we intend to do. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for looking. Bye.